Ritwik is outside the Maharashtra Mantralaya, but the uncertainty over what happens next is reaching fever pitch right now. On the left-hand side of your screen is that standby screen. Standby screen for Uddhav Thackeray's live address. It's happening via Facebook. You'll miss nothing. You'll watch that whole thing here on India Today. The Chief Minister of Maharashtra could be counting his last hours in the Mantralaya Kursi. He could be on his way out as the Chief Minister. Saving a miracle, Uddhav Thackeray could be on his final countdown out of the Chief Minister's chair. But nothing is over until it's over. The huge suspense, 48 hours after he last spoke, Uddhav Thackeray will begin his live video address. That screen is where Uddhav Thackeray is going to be speaking. He's doing this via Facebook. He's been in quarantine for the last couple of days over suspected COVID. The good news is he does not have COVID. He's tested negative earlier today, as we've confirmed through our reporters. It will not be an in-person address. It will be an address via Facebook, so it can reach even more people, and millions of people across Maharashtra and the country can watch the address, because this is a crisis for Uddhav Thackeray that has gone at least visibly beyond his control. He does not have control over the rebel band of MLAs under Eknath Shinde, who are sitting not in Maharashtra, not in Gujarat, but all the way across the country in BJP-ruled Assam. Eknath Shinde spoke first and exclusively to India Today. He said he's not in touch with anyone. He is a former number 2 to Uddhav Thackeray, and now the man who could well be responsible for bringing the Uddhav Sarkar down. The Shiv Sena stands split. The Aghadi Sarkar has been riven by mistrust. There's a lot of shadow play going on, as you can imagine. Beyond what we are reporting to you while we wait for this speech, there's a great deal of a whisper campaign within the Mahavikas Aghadi about who the fall guy needs to be. Who was responsible for this crisis happening and catching the Aghadi Sarkar completely off guard are the big questions. There are sections within the NCP that believe that Team Uddhav is responsible. There are sections within the Shiv Sena that believe that Uddhav Thackeray, that Sanjay Raut is responsible. The Congress, of course, has absolutely no say in what's going on, because their energy is completely focused on protesting in favor of Rahul Gandhi in Delhi, even though they are part of the Mahavikas Aghadi. So suspense is now fever pitch. Sharad Pawar, we're hearing, breaking news coming in. Sharad Pawar is likely to meet Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray after this live video address that is about to take place. That's the big piece of breaking news that we're bringing to you right now. Sharad Pawar, who has only spoken to Uddhav before this, he hasn't met him before this, since this crisis began, following India Today's big news break the day before yesterday morning, as a matter of fact. The fact is, Uddhav Thackeray, two things are going to happen now, viewer. Let me just be very clear. Sort out all the strands that are developing in parallel right now. Uddhav Thackeray, the next thing you're going to see on your screen is Uddhav Thackeray addressing the people of Maharashtra via video on Facebook. You'll watch that whole thing here. It'll be in Marathi. It'll be live translated for you, the viewer, here on India Today. Number 2, Sharad Pawar is going to be meeting with Uddhav Thackeray immediately after the address address. Vidya, coming quickly back to you on this. Sharad Pawar to meet Uddhav Thackeray after this video address, it's a reasonable meeting. It has to happen. But anything you're picking up from both camps right now?
Well, most of the NCP leaders, as well as the some of the Shiv Sainiks who are closer to Uddhav Thackeray, have been tight-lipped about it. In fact, what they are very categorical is that we will discuss all of it only after the entire address has happened. So actually, in fact, what some of the NCP leaders are also saying is that they do not really know what Uddhav Thackeray is going to say. So they have not been told clearly about it, though some bits of it was probably informed to some of the senior leaders, but most of the NCP leaders do not at this juncture know what is going to be said, and they are also waiting to hear it when the address really starts. So all of them are saying that whatever will be the whatever will be decided in Sharad Pawar Uddhav Thackeray meeting will really depend on what happens in the address itself. So everyone's really waiting for the address to begin, which could actually begin any time now.
Okay, it's going to begin any time now. It's delayed. It's 5:15 already. You know, obviously the loose ends are being tied up. Uddhav Thackeray is probably being briefed on a minute-to-minute basis. Am I right, Vidya? That, you know, in such a situation where it's all down to the numbers, Uddhav Thackeray must be being briefed literally on a minute-to-minute basis. Do we know who all are with Uddhav Thackeray right now? Do we know who his inner circle is, apart from Aditya Thackeray? Who else is with him, advising him?
Well, Sanjay Raut definitely is around, and in fact, you know, it's just not a minute-to-minute meeting. In fact, it has to be really decided what has to be put across. Remember, people of Maharashtra have seen the turmoil really in the last more than 24 hours, and they're certainly not liking what is really happening. At this juncture, probably they are not able to decide who is responsible for it, because no one really has the facts of it as to what has led of it, because this is an internal issue related to Shiv Sena, is what even Congress and NCP have been saying. But at this juncture, yes, you know, Uddhav Thackeray preparing completely as to what he has to say, what he has to convey to the people of Maharashtra. That would not really give out an entire crude form of the entire politics that is really unraveling here in Maharashtra, but also will probably, you know, put up a face where he could be actually seen as a victim of what is really happening. So some of the people who are actually strategizing are right there with him. They have been here in the meeting since morning. It's not just Uddhav Thackeray. In fact, Rashmi Thackeray herself, as we had seen yesterday also, that Eknath Shinde had actually spoken to her as well. So, you know, just about everyone in Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena, is actually in this entire meeting, in the thick of it, trying to ensure that really nothing wrong signal goes any further, so that people who are actually anointed with them, against them right now, do not really, you know, go any further distant and can be actually brought back into the party fold.
Vidya, what about the MLA meeting? You know, the meeting of MLAs was also called. I'll ask Ritwik that question and then I'll come back to you, Vidya. Ritwik, the MLA meeting that was for... Okay, we've got some reactions coming in. I'll just come back to you, Ritwik. Jayant Patil speaking. Let's listen in.
मदद देनी थी 50,000 तक की, उसका निर्णय हमारे सरकार ने लिया है.
सर, महाराष्ट्राच्या समोर मुख्यमंत्री आता जात आहेत. तत्पूर्वी तुमची चर्चा पण झाली असेल महाविकास आघाडीच्या सर्व पक्षांच्या प्रमुख नेत्यांबरोबर.
महाराष्ट्राच्या मुख्यमंत्री महोदय आता फेसबुक लाईव्ह करणार आहेत. त्यातून त्यांची भूमिका समोर येईल. मगाशी मंत्रिमंडळाची बैठक झाली. महाराष्ट्रातल्या शेतकऱ्यांना जे नियमितपणाने कर्जाची परतफेड करतात अशा शेतकऱ्यांना 50,000 रुपयापर्यंतचं अनुदान देण्याचा निर्णय जो अर्थसंकल्पात जाहीर केलेला त्याची पूर्तता आज आमच्या सरकारने केली आणि सरकारने त्यांना कर्जमाफीची जी योजना आहे त्याच्यातला पुढचा टप्पा म्हणून 50,000 रुपये आम्ही अनुदान देण्यास सुरुवात केलेली आहे. मंत्रिमंडळामध्ये कोणती राजकीय चर्चा झाली नाही. मंत्रिमंडळात माननीय मुख्यमंत्री महोदय हे झूमद्वारे मंत्रिमंडळाच्या मिटिंगला उपस्थित होते. त्यामुळे त्यांच्याशी व्यक्तिगत कोणती चर्चा काल संध्याकाळनंतर आमची झाली नाही.
मुख्यमंत्री म्हणून आहेत का पक्षप्रमुख म्हणून? सरकार वेगवेगळे आता समोर आले.
फार वेळ नाही, 5 वाजल्यानंतर ते फेसबुक लाईव्ह करणार आहेत. त्यांची भूमिका आपल्यालाही कळेल, आम्हालाही कळेल.